It's amazing what you can do with a few wacky remixes here and there.
Thank you, Neil Ciceriga.
What is up, BattleBots, Robot Wars, and BuggleBots fans alike? Hardcore Kid here with a brand new episode of the Hardcore Podcast. Sorry if I sound a bit tired right now. I just came back from a long road trip. I'd love to lay down on the floor, but I have boycotted the floor. And joining me for this particular review, I have Bonk Master General, Otaku Nate.
Man, I gotta tell you, this new episode of BattleBots certainly left me floored.
Indeed. You gotta reach high when you're watching episodes like this and doing reviews. To the ceiling, I always say. But we do have some guests joining us tonight, and as always, we must introduce them. And we have what I like to call the Bonk and Berg connection. First off, we have the meme queen and the head of Robot Wars Shuntposting Facebook page. It's Sarah Malyan.
Your jokes are flawless.
And who else do we have, Nate?
Well, we have the Robots or Wars or BattleBots equivalent of Bobby the Brain Heenan. You might remember him as that guy who got pulled off the stage by Tim Rackley in BattleBots, or BuggleBots, excuse me. I can't think straight today. That's what happens when you're got a week off from work. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Charlie Dangerfield.
I'm fantastic. Everyone loves me.
Really? Do they really love you?
Do you know who does love Charlie?
Ooh.
Nicholas Nave. He has a special thing. Every time he calls Charlie by his name, he does it in a British accent and says, Charlie.
Oh, Charlie. Come to Candy Mountain, Charlie.
Candy Mountain,
Nick,
Charlie.
I miss you. Please come over to my house. You can sleep on my sofa bed and we can watch cute movies together.
Brilliant. Yeah, so it's great having Charlie back, and it's great having Sarah back, too. It's been too long. We missed you guys.
Aww.
Yeah, I just want to tell you, Sarah, right from the get-go, because if I don't, I'll forget you. My mom's a big fan of yours.
Aw, thank you, Mom.
Mama Milbank's a big fan of Sarah, and she's a big fan of BuggleBots.
Aw, well, thanks, Mama Milbank.
We're hoping that the next time you got the fundraising window open, we're hoping to donate, though. I don't know if you accept any of our worthless currency.
The PayPal donation page on the BuggleBots page does.
We only take Bitcoin now. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so tonight, Sarah, you finally made your big debut in the battle box with Nelly The Ellybot. It was great seeing you guys, and we'll talk about the match when we get to it.
Oh dear.
But I wanna talk about this episode for a little bit, and
do we want to talk about the bonus match?
Yeah, let's talk about the bonus match
because
first.
I missed it.
It was Petunia versus Warhawk.
Sorry, I was too busy playing Yakuza.
It was Petunia versus Warhawk, and all I have to say is Petunia did the job to a mini-bot.
Oh.
It's like that thing is amazingly strong. Like, it just got underneath Petunia.
Warstop stole the show last year.
It stole the show in that match. It just got underneath Petunia, beached it, and allowed Warhawk to smack into Petunia and knock it over, and that was it for Petunia, basically.
Never underestimate the power of a beetle weight. Now we know how to beat Tombstone.
You just need
or
a
get him
bug
stuck in his own chain.
To win BattleBots. If you're looking for a beetle weight, I mean, look no further than me.
Yeah, next time you should have the Berg as Nelly's mini-bot.
Oh, forget the Berg. Let's just throw you in the battle box.
Oh, none of them will stand a chance. Don't even try it. Don't even try.
Did any of you guys see the Petunia Warhawk match?
I did, and it wasn't Petunia's best performance.
No.
Which is
No.
Petunia was a little hero last season. He added some extra character to the Petunia team.
Yeah.
There was no headbutting this time though.
Hey, who knows? Maybe he'll give us something new this year.
Maybe.
Yeah, but that's all to say about the bonus match. Now, as far as the main card goes, like, every time a new episode comes up and we see the new battle card, I always come up with my own prediction lists of who's going to win each match. And let's just say the BattleBots gods showed no mercy. Because out of all the 7 matches, do you want to know how many predictions I got right?
Very few. I think I saw on Reddit that match predictability on this episode was the lowest so far by a long shot.
I just got 1. Out of 7 matches, I got 1 prediction right, and it was Blacksmith versus Kraken.
Are you sure you're a BattleBots fan?
I had faith in Nelly. I thought Nelly was gonna wipe the floor with Rainbow.
It did. It did. Didn't you see it?
Yeah, it's ridiculous and
With bits of its face.
yeah. This episode was truly crazy, and granted, some of these matches could have gone the other way if it weren't for one particular factor, and that whatever happened to the Hellraisers, I don't know, but apparently they're not raising anymore, and so there's this giant seam in the floor that kept messing up everybody's matches.
Oh yeah, that's why I went round it, because the Quantum Lockjaw fight was before ours, and if you notice at the beginning of the Quantum Lockjaw fight, that Quantum goes straight forward and gets hung up on that lip.
Yeah, we saw it.
So we were pretty sure our wedge would suffer the same fate as Quantum, getting caught up on that. So my plan was to go around that, and I did go around it, but I sort of drove a little too aggressively and sort of kamikazed.
Well, when you're going up against something that looks like Rainbow Carbide, you gotta go box rush him.
I mean, it was a stiff learning curve in wedge angles.
Oh, big time. You don't want to feed them into your links. I mean, that's the worst thing you could do.
Switches, Charlie, switches.
Same thing.
We had switches.
Speaking of Carbide, we'll start talking about the early matches, and we'll start off with Team Cobalt versus Duck.
And I gotta say, right off the bat, this was immediately my award for the John Reed good hit of the night. This entire fight. With Cobalt just sending Duck flying north.
And Sam Smith continues his reputation as the straight-faced guy when Cobalt launches Duck towards the Lexan, and Moldy is just sent flying back, but Sam Smith is just like sitting there like, he brushes it off like nothing. Yeah, this was insanity. These were like some of the biggest hits I've ever seen from a vertical spinner.
Oh my god. If its fight with Sub-Zero is anything to go by, Cobalt is likely going to be favorites for the giant nut.
Yeah, but like poor Duck, you gotta give it credit, because even with the weapon taking all the hits, the whole weapon got thrown off and thrown out of the arena.
Oh my god.
It kept going.
I mean, I have sympathy for Duck because we both lost our faces in that fight.
But only a brick wall could stop Cobalt, and that wall turned out to be the floor.
Well, as we learned from Spoonie from his retrospective of the Ultima games, the floor is the most dangerous enemy.
Yeah. My saying is always, in the battle of robot versus the arena always wins, and
oh my god,
the arena won again today.
I'm just curious, like, because it was clear that they could still move, but like the ref, they should have asked Duck, you know, like Duck to move them or something. I mean, just honestly, what happened?
Honestly, if I was Duck and I was losing at that point, I'd just leave Cobalt alone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with Hal Rucker, because at this point, there was about 30 seconds left in the match. They weren't going to win this match regardless, and we know Hal really wants to make the top 16, so...
Yeah, it's just so odd that that's the way this fight had to end. It's just so anticlimactic.
Because if that didn't happen, this could have been the match of the night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not to be.
Yeah.
Sarah, what do you think of Floorgate?
Oh, Floorgate's delightful, isn't it? I mean, yeah, like I said, I mean, there's no getting around it, really. The floor was bad. And that's why I drove around that big lip at the beginning of the match, because, you know, I wanted to go straight for Rainbow, and obviously straightforward would have been the normal route, but the normal route had this big old lip in it, so I had to go around it lest they get stuck. And yeah, so yeah, it was a thing, and I was salty about the Cobalt and Duck fight. And I say that as a huge Duck fan. I absolutely love Duck, but
me too.
You know, it was Duck winning that was just wow, really? I mean,
Yeah.
it
I mean, I
like
understand
that
losses
method.
by
it
having.
legally won it, but it didn't win it, if you know what I mean.
How about you, Charlie?
No, like, I'm so glad BattleBots well, just check their Facebook, and they are making or testing a new arena. So
What?
hopefully that'll be a bit more structurally
I think
sound.
for next season they're gonna get rid of the Hellraisers because
I think they did get rid of the Hellraisers. They just I think that's just
They're the old
They
floor
just left that
panels
there.
have been left in, yeah, from the
Ugh.
Hellraisers.
Mm-hmm.
It's been the same
as much-
arena since 2016.
makes about as much sense as the drop zone appearing in Robot Wars Series 5 and never being used. Weird. Yeah, but you know what? It sucked. It had a crummy finish, but at the end of the day, I do think it helps both Duck and Cobalt, because both these machines, they want to make it into the top 16, and the voting committee, the fighting committee, they're looking at both these bots. Duck needed this win.
Duck is pretty much a tank this season.
It is, so because if it wants to stay in
yeah.
the competition.
You're right.
Cobalt has shown enough that it's done enough damage that it can make it to the top 16, and I think it might. But
That's the
we'll find
massive
out.
advantage of a selection committee, because
Yeah.
rather than going just off plainly wins and losses, which is bad, because otherwise Ultimo Destructo might have got in last year to the top 16. But it's so glad they're using a selection committee, because a robot could go 2-2, lose its 2 fights due to absolute stupid stuff that goes on in the arena, and I can still get through to the top 16. That's all that matters. That's the main thing. The Cobalt's in the running, from what we've seen.
Sarah, you want to say something?
Earlier I tried to say that I agree with you that this fight was a testament to both robots, because the fight was still fantastic regardless of the kind of crummy finish, and there aren't many robots that can beat up Duck for that long without their weapon caving in, and there aren't many robots that could survive that kind of pounding and still be going. So yeah, I agree with you. It's a testament to the strength of both robots.
Yeah, but in the end, Duck gets the win. Cobalt is now 1-1, but hey, at least they still have 2 more matches and a good chance of redeeming themselves after this little oopsie.
Hopefully they don't get floored.
Indeed. Oh, so Duck gets the win, and the second match is Bombshell versus Rotator. Hey, remember when Bombshell came runner-up in Season 2? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Oh boy.
Dear.
Bombshell is... Oh my god, like... I want Bombshell to do well, but these first 2 fights, man, yeesh. It's just had awful draws. Like, in the first match, it fights a robot that can tip it over, and its remech fails. In this match, like, we've seen the state of Rotator this season. Like, they had to completely dismantle the thing and put it back together because the frame broke. So you'd think logically that Bombshell has this one, but nope, Rotator uses its undercutter to basically dismantle Bombshell's base plate.
Yeah, did you see that thing fly off at the end? Holy mackerel. Yeah, don't because even if, just because Rotator doesn't have its signature 2 discs, doesn't mean it's not dangerous. It still has that one big blade.
Mm-hmm.
And it was able to get some hits in. Bombshell lost drive. To Bombshell's credit, there was some good sparky goodness between the 2 machines, just smacking into each other. And then, I guess, on one hit, Rotator took out the wheel. Bombshell couldn't do anything. A couple more hits, and Bombshell gets its trousers knocked off.
Mm-hmm.
Ouchies. Sarah, what'd you think of this fight?
I mean, certainly compared to the previous fight, this fight was over very quickly and didn't have as much pizzazz as its predecessor. But yeah, again, it's a shame for Bombshell, isn't it? They were working so hard, and it was annoying little things, I think, that was troubling them again this year, and it's sad to see. You know, we wanted a better fight out of Duck versus Bombshell, because, you know, after last year, that was a great grudge match. And it could have been so much more, and sadly it wasn't. And again, I think Bombshell versus Rotator could have been a very interesting match. They had the vertical spinner, and Rotator's got the horizontal. Weapon to weapon hits on that could have been amazing. But yeah, just sadly it wasn't to be. It definitely wasn't showing off either of these robots at their full capacity.
How about you, Charlie?
Yeah, I completely agree with Sarah. I was very intoxicated during it on cheap alcohol. But yeah, from what I saw of it and what I remember of it, it was just like Sarah said, like it wasn't the best of what we could see from both, and I think it's one of the rare occasions where Bombshell might have been better off looking like last season's robot. But other than that, yeah. Rotator's looking good.
You could argue this was the weakest match on the card, but going throughout the whole thing, I didn't really think there was a bad match in this card. I mean, like, every match had some kind of destruction, just pieces flying everywhere.
I wish there was a little more from the Rotator Bombshell match, but again, like the Duck versus Cobalt match had lots of big hits, but was kind of dragged down by its screwy finish. Rotator versus Bombshell, as I said, I wish it was a little longer. And then we got to talk about the elephant in the room.
The big purple elephant. Sarah, I just have one thing to say. Aye, what happened?
Your jokes get cornier by the day. That's what happened. I'm sorry. I'll get my coat to cover the horrible face that was left on Nelly. So yeah. I mean, obviously that fight didn't go well for us. I mean, from an entertainment point of view,
it was
very
great.
well for us. And social media has been fun. In mostly a good way. We have had some negative comments. It sells mostly, and it's like, oh, bless. But no, actually, lots of it's been positive. Lots of it's been very humorous. I mean, just the sheer volume of Nelly memes on Shuntposting is ridiculous, or rebonkulous, I should say. And you know what? When we initially came out that battle, I mean, I took it with a smile because, hell, it's BattleBots. You get smashed or you smash, and we got smashed. So I did take it in good humor, but at the same time, we got outside, and it visually it did look bad. But at this point, obviously, we hadn't had a chance to test anything inside and see if the internals were still working. But yeah, so as awful as it looked, the plastic got totally smashed up, obviously, but mechanically, apart from the one battery wire that they chopped off, nothing internal was damaged at all. So we just basically
wow.
the wire and the plastic, and one of the aluminium bulkheads on the side that was beyond repair, but we made a new one out of plastic, which, given who our next opponent was worth it. Wasting money on an alley bulkhead for that fight was no go. So we made a new one out of plastic, and we made new plastic heads, and a Tormac fixed the weapon bulkhead that was a little bit damaged, and then we were good to go again. It was frustrating because, as you probably noticed, that last hit on us killed their weapon, and actually did so much more damage to them than us. I mean, it cost us $90 in plastic and a new wire. But for them, I mean, their whole weapon system was knackered. I mean, they were pushing down on the bar afterwards, and there was like an inch of give in it.
Wow.
So as bad as Nelly looked, financially, we definitely came off the better out of that fight. But on the other hand, we lost the fight, but we lost gloriously. Yeah. No one's forgetting that fight in a hurry. I think between Nelly and Cobalt, probably the most talked about fights of this fight card.
Yeah, it's like
I had faith in Nelly winning this because in the battle of Wedge versus Spinner, Wedges can come out good in the end, and I think if they didn't take out your battery and Nelly just kept on going, rest of the match probably could have been just pushing Rainbow around because Rainbow couldn't get their weapon going.
Yeah, we could have pushed them into the hazards, and also their weapon not working would have counted as damage points in our favor, because it obviously would have counted as disabling their weapon.
We would have bonked them a few times because as much as it didn't look like it on TV, the hammer did work.
Yeah, they did,
I saw
the axe moving.
Yeah, it was working at the actually. What they didn't show, because they noticeably cut it, was that when we first stopped, because we knew the floor was uneven. I was saying to Gus, fire the axe a couple of times to just check we weren't stuck, because in doing so, it would have given us the momentum to get off whatever we were stuck on. But then after we fired it, like I think maybe 3 or 4 times, we realised no, the drive really was dead. And then John Remar looked at me and said, "I'm going to need to see some movement."
It's a shame, but will we see more Nelly?
You will. I mean, I hope so. I have no idea at present if or when our next fight will be shown. So I can't share it. And to be honest, even if I did know at this point, I couldn't share it with you anyway. But yeah, I'm none the wiser.
We can share the picture of the aftermath of Nelly.
Oh my god.
It is truly a ghastly sight.
It's straight out of the Nelephant graveyard.
Nelly the Messiers.
Oh dear. Yeah, it's frightening, but yeah. Charlie, anything to say? You were on the team. What did you think of this experience?
The experience of this fight, it was, I noticed as well on some of the crowd's faces, it was hard to watch for some of them. Some of them were hiding their hands in front of their eyes, like,
whoa!
But yeah, it was the same for me in terms of that. I was kind of cringing as it was happening with the damage we were taking. But yeah, it was a good battle otherwise, and we learned a lot from it. The thing is, you've got to lose to learn. Otherwise, you're never going to work out your flaws. So I'm glad we didn't lose in such a dramatic way.
I was so, honestly, as ghastly as that fight was, my feeling at the end was just sympathy, because I wasn't going like, oh my god, that thing got wrecked. I just went, oh my god, that thing got wrecked.
Can I tell you a really wholesome story, though?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the first time I met Ray Billings was in the hotel on the first night that we arrived, and I turned to the fangirl and went, "Oh my god, can I hug you, please?" Because that was the words my mouth managed. But Ray was lovely, and he was like, "Yeah, of course you can." And we had a hug and a selfie and all the rest of it. And then this hugging became a thing. Like every time I saw him, I jokingly said, "Do you want another hug?" And he would humor me and would always say yes and give me a hug. And then the night we were told we were fighting Rainbow was the day before we were fighting them. And I saw Ray in the hotel that night and said, "Ray, I'm fighting a horizontal. You're the king of horizontals. I need a good luck hug." So Ray gave me a good luck hug. And then, so we had the fight with Rainbow. We came out, and like I said, after we came out, it looked so bad. And Gus was saying to me, "Oh my God, I think it's terminal." And then Tom Brewster and Rory Mangles from Monsoon come over, and they were just so chill. And they were like, "Nah, Tormat can fix that. Oh, and that's fine. And you've only lost a battery lead. It's fine. You'll make it back in the arena." So we calmed down, and then we went back in the pit, and cameras were finally out of our faces, and we were just. We were okay, but we were very overwhelmed and
I can imagine.
And just, oh my goodness. And Ray just out of nowhere just wanders over and goes, "Hey, do you need a hug?" And I honestly could have cried there and then in his arms. It was just the most thoughtful thing. And oh my gosh, I was so in love with him for that. Honestly, it was so well timed as well, and I love Ray things.
Yeah, everybody loves Ray, although me and my folks were watching the episode last night, and they're watching Ray on TV, and they're like, "This guy is so cocky. Oh, he's got the best robot around. He's gonna destroy everybody and take the nut." And then you meet him in real life. He is a gentleman. He is like one of the
I'm ruining
best
his
characters
reputation here.
Yeah.
Although, considering who we saw in the last episode, he may have some competition for best character on the show.
Indeed. Well, so Rainbow, or as I like to call it, Brony Carbide, got the win. And, so...
Oh, those Russians.
So the next match, Quantum versus Lockjaw. Before, there was a vignette where, Quantum was showing off their tooth.
Oh.
They showed the tooth going through aluminum, and then they showed it going through AR-500, and it got stuck. I can only imagine how long it took to get that plate off of the tooth there.
Hey, as long as you have a heat gun, I think you could get it off.
Yeah.
Because metal bends under heat.
Yeah, sure. This segment also had one of the best Don Hudson moments when he says in the pre-interview, "I hate to break such a beautiful robot, but I must."
Yes.
His delivery
When has that
alone...
stopped you before, Don?
His delivery alone made that worth it. So,
They're
having the match.
It almost made it sound so noble, didn't it? You know, valiantly onwards into battle, if I must.
Yeah. So, they're having the match, and it's actually a hell of a match.
Mm-hmm.
These two are locking up with each other.
Yep, chasing, catching, smash and grab.
Quantum trying to get a hold of Lockjaw. And then Quantum hits that seam in the floor.
Damn it.
And I wrote here in my notebook, "Stupid floor!" in huge letters. And then Lockjaw just slams into Quantum. Quantum is flipped upside down. It should self-right, but it couldn't. Lockjaw
Something
gets the
must
win.
have blown.
Ugh. Dang it. So much wackiness. And yeah, Lockjaw gets the win. And yeah, it's an ugly finish because of the bloody Hellraisers. But what can you do? I gotta say, tonight was not a good night for UK bots. Like, Cobalt lost, Nelly lost, and now Quantum lost. The King of Bots champion. What's going on here?
Didn't we say this at the filming?
Really?
Who wants... Sarah, you want to say something?
I said Cobalt didn't really lose.
Yeah, maybe. It's all just a conspiracy, right, Charlie?
Everything's a conspiracy. Life itself is a conspiracy. Just look into it, trust me.
So, Sarah, what'd you think of Quantum versus Lockjaw?
I want to ask the Coopers, have you got a Shremek?
Oh.
Of course they have!
Of course they haven't. Well, no, that's a lie. They did, but obviously there was smoke just before they kind of died, wasn't there? I don't know what went wrong there, but yeah, they just sort of, they were doing all right, and then they stopped.
Yeah. It's a shame, because Quantum, as much hate as they might be getting, especially after the Blacksmith match, it's still a beautiful machine.
Oh, without question.
And like I said, I had them winning this match, because I think if they were able to get a good grab onto Lockjaw and maybe squeeze into the top, because I'm not sure Lockjaw's lid is that solid, is it? Isn't it like aluminum or some kind of steel? But it seemed like they didn't have quite the wide reach to get a hold of it, because Lockjaw just seemed a little bit too tall for the teeth to get a hold of. But
yeah, as the battle went on, I kept thinking, where is it gonna bite onto?
The wheel, maybe?
Maybe.
It'd be really good. Charlie, what did you think of this match?
At this point, I was about 7 Polish beers down, so
Oh dear Lord!
I was feeling it, man. I loved it. it was a good match when I was there as well, and when watching it back on the telly, man, it was good. It was really good. I loved it. It was one of my favourites.
Can I just say that he's lying about being drunk, because Quantum was before our fight and it wasn't long before our fight.
No, I watched that while at work, our fight.
Oh, you mean when you were watching it? I see. I thought you were implying at the filming.
No, not the filming.
I seriously
What?
hope you
If
won.
I was secretly 7 beers down every single day.
I'd have noticed. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I've had a moment there.
I was on 5-hour energy. I love that. I need it imported into me desperately. You know?
Charlie had 3 states while we were in the States. It was
Wow.
buzzing, or it was sort of, or it was asleep.
Well, sounds like quite a trip.
That's my normal state anyway. Like, that's just day to day life. Like,
Stone Cold Charlie Dangerfield.
Charlie.
Nicholas
Nave.
Yeah, poor Quantum, but you know what? It means that both teams are 1-1, so it's still early in the season and it's still anyone's game.
Mm-hmm.
But Lockjaw gets the win. And now we move on to the one prediction I got right, and also the match that is actually my favorite match of the night.
I would say the next one is mine, but this one was really good. This was a match.
Yes, Kraken versus Blacksmith. I gotta ask, are they intentionally trying to piss Al Kindle off by making him face all these crushers?
I literally said that at filming. When they announced the fight, everyone started laughing, and I was just like, they're just trolling Al Kindle at this point. Seriously. Although it was funny. Although my favourite thing about this fight is how many times that Kraken got booped on the snoot by Blacksmith.
Yeah. Oh, like, Al has built a great machine, and it's just a shame he always has to have these draws, mostly against crushers like Warhead and Quantum and Kraken. What's next? Is Sam Smith going to bring Tiberius back or something?
I'd prefer to be booped by Blacksmith than get twatted by Rainbow.
Oh, dear. But, like, Al came out and he just unleashed hell on Kraken. I mean, this is the best I've ever seen Blacksmith since its first match back in Season 2. It just wailing on Kraken like crazy.
It's working, it's firing on all cylinders, it's getting some good shots in on that snout of Kraken, man. This is what I wanted out of Blacksmith.
Yeah, I think he worked out that using the hammer was helping him wiggle out of Kraken's teeth when Kraken was trying to get a bite down on him. And because you noticed that, like, when Kraken looked like it was going to get a bite, Al was furiously firing the hammer and...
This won't happen again!
And of course, Kraken has to troll everybody by grabbing onto Blacksmith and holding him for 30 seconds, at which point Kindle's like, let it go! Which I think is going to be...
Let it go.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody on Shuntposting edits the edits. Let it go, but it's Al Kindle.
It's already done.
We're hoping.
Anstey made a picture of Al Kindle on Elsa's face with "Let It Go."
Here's hoping we can actually get Al Kindle on this season.
Al Kindle looks beautiful in Elsa's dress.
Oh no!
Oh. My eyes are burning right now. Either that's from seeing the fire, or maybe seeing visions I should not be witnessing. But yeah, the match went the distance. It was a split decision, and finally Blacksmith gets a win. Congratulations, Al. And everybody loves angry. People love angry Al. But we also love Happy Al as well.
Yes.
And he definitely needed this win. Charlie, what'd you think of this match? Were you sober enough?
No, not at all. But yeah, this one was nice. I think. Yeah. I'm can remember little inklings of it. I remember the wriggling out. That was good. That was pretty nice. Yeah, honestly, at this point, I was pretty blacked out. I don't remember much from this point. So, from what I remember, though, yeah, good.
Blacksmith gets the win, finally. And now we move on to Endgame versus Ribot.
This was my favorite match of the night.
And I had Endgame winning this match because it's powerful. But Ribot, just because it has that silly foam frog on the top, you can't underestimate this machine.
This thing is a tank.
It's a tank.
Oh my god, that thing was taking so many big hits from Endgame, but still moving.
Still moving?
What you'd think was a joke robot ends up being one of the most durable machines in this competition.
It was tricky, because really this match could have gone either way, because these two powerful disc spinners and what it really came down to was Endgame lost the chain, and everything on it just fell to pieces.
And so, yeah, Ribot has proven that this thing, in spite of its being a novelty, can actually go the distance. Endgame, I'm putting you on the prove it list.
And like the WPI guys are great. They built Squishy, the Beetleweight, and it's really nasty. This is essentially a heavyweight version with the frog gimmick on top. It's proving itself right now.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I wouldn't be surprised if this thing makes the top 16.
Maybe. Sarah, what do you think of
I
the
slept
frog?
on Ribot, man.
What do you think of the frog? That nice, soft, froggy, ribbody.
I mean, Ribot's adorable, but that's misleading, obviously. I think you were saying previously about sort of episode predictability. This was probably the fight that people got most wrong with the predictability because Endgame had a pretty fierce reputation from last season. And I think that the general consensus in response to this fight was press F to pay respects to Ribot. And then Ribot pulled off this surprise win. And it was amazing. It was a great fight for them. And as they said, made taking the time off college worth it.
We got to get those guys on our show.
Well, I'll try. We'll see what happens. Charlie, what'd you think of this match?
Yeah, Endgame. It's from what I remember when I was there. Actually, it was surprising for everyone in the pits because the Ribot guys were just behind us in the pits, and we borrowed a few tools off them and stuff. And when they got drawn up against Endgame, I was like, okay, this is not going to be fun for them. Poor guys, they're so nice. But they put Endgame in its place pretty much, didn't they? Yeah, it was very good. I love the Endgame guys as well. They're cool as well. But yeah, it was a brilliant match. Definitely one of the best of the night.
Yeah, it's a shame because I think with a bit better driving, Endgame probably could have gotten the win. But it just seems to become. It went from a contender last season to now just becoming a glass cannon.
Yeah,
to just pieces falling off of it. It's disappointing. It's almost as disappointing as the Avengers Endgame not beating Avatar's box office records.
They're re-releasing
to
make sure it does.
I don't know. They still haven't... You think they'll make another $26 million?
Oh, big time. Yeah. They can...
With the added footage.
Yeah. Well, Marvel has their fan base. Yeah, so... Yes, Ribot gets the win.
Endgame croaked.
Endgame croaked.
And it's this match that we also got our Farouk moment of the night. I should get that in before we move on to the main event.
All right.
If that's
where
not
basically Farouk does his best pantomime of an actual frog.
Oh God. That was cringy, but it was also very funny.
Hey, that's why we love him, man.
Yeah. So, the big main event. It is Tombstone versus Sawblaze.
Even if this ended in a KO, this was a great main event.
Yeah, Jameson Go, this guy's the real deal. If he's built some terrifying machines, like Silent Spring and Megatron and Sawblaze, and I had good faith going in, because JMO is hands down one of the best drivers in the sport, and he was doing all right. He was getting under Tombstone and slamming him around.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, hey, maybe he's got this. But then Tombstone managed to hit the wheel.
After they got separated by the pulverizer, that was it.
Yeah, it's a shame. And like Tombstone, they did that during that vignette with Quantum. They talked about AR 500 and how strong it is. Sawblaze's wedge is made out of AR 500. Tombstone sliced it in half.
What? That was just incredible. And Sawblaze got stuck or beached or broke down.
They broke down.
But its arm and saw were still working, and so we got the sight of Sawblaze trying to saw through itself.
It's trying to kill itself. My dad was watching this match, and he's like, why doesn't he bring the saw down? And it's like...
You have to wait for a good hit. Didn't you learn anything from John Reed?
He doesn't know who John Reed is. He probably thinks he's Colin Mockery or something. Oh. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the next time Dad and JMO are at the same event, he'll go up to him asking, why didn't you bring the saw down? You could have won that match, and you That's my best Bob Nichols impression. Thank you very much. I learned from the best. Sarah, what'd you think of this match?
My favorite moment of this match was Tombstone versus the Floor, purely because last season Ray apologized for that like one hit on the floor. How many hits did he get on the floor this time?
Well, if you judge by the number of rotations the blade makes, I'd say about 2,000.
But also, it was for a back and forth match, it was great because obviously at the start, Jameson was very strong, and I love it when it cuts to Ray because you actually can see that he looks worried to start off with when Jameson is dominating. And then this thing with the pulverizer happened. They got separated, and then it went the other way, and then of course went to Tombstone, and then it wasn't long before Sawblaze was limping, and then Ray did the lovely dance across the floor, beating it up as he went along, and it was certainly main event worthy. Let's put it that way.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, the Tombstone did what many other people wanted to do, and that was to beat the hell out of Floor, punish it for its crimes, costing Cobalt the victory. Yeah, it was fun. It was a little disappointing that it really didn't last that long, but yeah. Charlie, what'd you think of the match?
Yeah, it's Ray Billings, isn't it? He knows how to drive a horizontal perfectly. Like he's got a strategy for anyone. You could throw any possible robot at him, and he will have a strategy for it. The only thing that lets Tombstone down ever is pretty much just natural problems, which will happen to any robot. Like when it's up against Fight Force last season. Was it last season? I can't remember. But
he lost to Bombshell.
Bombshell. Oh, the season before that, was it?
Yeah, that was season 3.
Season 3. Yeah, but it's the only reason he loses is because of stuff he can't really help. I've noticed it's very rarely it's a driving mistake. So when you're going up against Ray, you have to be careful. And you had Ray versus Jameson, two fantastic drivers, two people who know how to nail the hell out of driving their robot. And it made a brilliant show. I wish it could have gone on a bit longer, but yeah, it was brilliant.
I think it's also worth. I'm looking at my notes, and we almost forgot. Another really good moment was when they did the vignette for Ray, and he did his interview, and then they play. They give us the evil Ray Billings laugh.
Cackles internally.
Yeah, Ray's great, and J-Mo's great too. I was definitely looking forward to this match. I do wonder. Do you think Sawblaze or I don't know? Do you think they would have been better off using that new Hardox disc?
Considering what they were up against, I would say no.
No,
I was to sacrifice it.
I mean, considering that they were using their rubber pads this time around. They seem to have. They would have had a lot more success with their configuration than without it.
Well, hopefully we'll have J-Mo on the show and we'll ask him about the match and such.
And we'll ask him why he didn't bring the saw down.
Yeah, that's our Bob Nichols question of the day. Why didn't you use the saw? Yeah. So overall, as completely destroyed as my predictions were. I will say this. Every match had destruction in it. That's a huge positive.
Can confirm.
Yes. Unfortunately, there were a couple hiccups here and there, and most of them involved the floor. There was at least 3 occasions where the bots kept bumping into the floor, and two times... Actually, let's say 3 times it cost them matches, because Nelly had to drive around it. But, if we subtract those negatives, out of a score of 10, I give it an 8 out of 10.
I will give it an 8 out of 10, too. I think the screwy finish just sort of held it back. If they didn't have it, I would have given it a 9 out of 10.
How about you, Sarah?
I had Nelly on it, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Sounds about right. Charlie, how about you?
It had me on it, 11 out of 10.
Woo!
Going beyond the scoring limit, who are you, Dave Meltzer?
Yeah. So, that covers the episode portion, but now we must know, Sarah, when BattleBots?
Then BattleBots. But nobody ever asks why BattleBots.
So the series has been filmed. Is there a release date?
No, there isn't as yet. I mean, series 1 took 2 months to get out. And this time around, we have a lot more footage to get through. Joe and the editing team have certainly got their work cut out for them this season. So, 2 months was going to be a stretch for this season compared to last.
Could I make a prediction?
I honestly tell you, I am in the process of kind of leaving Joe to it at the moment because that's how he rolls. he's left alone, not being harassed, and not being asked when BattleBots. So I'm letting him crack on with that. I check in with them. We check up on each other, see what's going on. But at the moment, I know that the commentary team haven't been over yet. So yeah, it's still going to be a little while yet. I certainly don't want to say anything that would give your listeners the impression that it would be out anytime soon. So yeah, I really can't tell you. Like I say, we're a volunteer organization. The editing team is tiny. It'll be out when it's out.
My prediction was that I was gonna say around late September, early October. That's my guess.
Sounds about reasonable. But that's up to Joe and the other guys. So we'll see what happens. Now, Charlie, what's going on with the Berg?
Entered BattleBots Season 2. You'll have to tune in when that's out to find out whether I do well or not. You'll hopefully have a good time with it. But yeah, the BattleBots. Got another beetle on the ready going. What am I saying? Got another beetle being
ready,
made.
steady, go.
It's it's a big vert. I mean, boring, but hoping it does well.
I can't wait to see it in action. Can't wait to see you become the new champion of the world.
I already am. I always have been. I'm that good.
I mean, he did win the Olympic Games.
I did.
Yes, he did.
I've just won the Commonwealth Games as well, even though it didn't happen this year.
Brilliant.
And I'm a Universal Champion as well.
Woo. What university?
The University of Hard Knocks.
Brilliant.
He won a Nobel End Peace Prize.
Oh, the Nobel End Prize. Thank you.
No bonks. All right, so that covers the episode review. The bonus match airs on the Science Channel on Wednesday, and it's between Death Roll and good old Craig Danby with Foxtrot.
Shall we say it?
Yes.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Good
Good luck, Craig!
I don't know. He probably could have a chance.
If he gets Death Roll over, I think he has a chance.
He'll win via Death Roll rolling itself to death. But that covers episode 4. It was great to have the Bonk and Berg connection with us. We hope to have you guys back on soon.
Yeah,
Thanks for
that'd be
having me.
brilliant. Thank you for having us. It's been a good show.
Any final plugs? Sarah, I know you've been doing a lot of interviews lately too.
So we revived the Shuntcast, and we've been having some guest roboteers on there. And I've been fighting with audio, so I may be coming to you guys for tips soon. But it's been fun doing it though. We've had some fun guests. We had Al Kindle, we've had Jonathan Schultz, Randy Farmer, Jen Heckenroder, Orion Beach, and we just had Matt Spurk as well.
Great.
And so that's a thing. It's a lot shorter than your podcast, and it's definitely more shunt posting themed than yours. We're sort of less of the tech talk and more of the banter, but that's shunt posting. It's obligatory, of course, to plug our sponsors, 3D Print Direct and ASG Group. And also to thank the Berg for being the most amazing robot. Also to thank Nicholas Nave because he's a great meme sport, and because I will never hear Charlie's name again without hearing it as Charlie in my head. Oh, speaking of which, you know how I've been doing my shunt posting presents on the group?
Yep.
From which, for your listeners who have no idea what that is that I got up to mischief in the pit at BattleBots, and I got some fan footage and stuff, behind the scenes stuff in the pits. And coming up is a video of Donald Hudson attempting a British accent.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
Oh my.
Hopefully his British accent is better than his beard.
I asked him to say one is not amused. And then you're going to have to wait for that to come out. But yeah, it'll be out, and it will be fabulous.
Mm. Yeah, and we'll have links to the Shuntcast in the description of the YouTube video, as well as a link to the Shunt posting group if you want to join.
Sure thing. I mean,
and
switches too.
What?
Are you going to have switches too?
We'll have switches.
No switches. Only links. Only links.
Only Dean's plugs. Charlie, any shout-outs?
I'd like to say, Nick, please come to me. We can go on a nice, cute date to a nice Italian restaurant that's just down the road from me. Every time I go on Tinder, I swipe no on everyone because they're just not you, Nick. They're just not you. Please come to me, Nick. I love you.
Oh my goodness.
Never change, Charlie. Never change.
So, after that amazing revelation, I am the Hardcore Kid.
I am Otaku Nate.
That's Charlie Narbe, and I'm Sarah the Queen.
Yeah.
Peace out, and until next time, it's robot fighting time.
Bonk.
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 Ow.